Okay, many ways to add value. That makes sense. What are some operational improvements, maybe on the real estate side, that you've found lead to the highest improvement in returns?
Well, for operations goes is just making sure that you have your ground rules, your team, communication, right? Yeah, the don't just assume everything's handled. If somebody says it's handled, like follow up, check in, all that kind of stuff. Redundancies. Uh, that's on the management end of just making sure that things are getting done how they're supposed to get done, and without you know um, it being a burden, right? You want to be able to have a quick check in, a quick understanding of what's going on, and if there's an issue or a problem comes up or there's a delay, to understand that from a project management standpoint, right? You want to look at where things are ahead of timeline and what things are behind timeline, and just understanding why. And sometimes it is what it is. It's not like you like, oh, that was misunderstood in the beginning, so hey, this is definitely going to take more. If there's something that happened because of a fault due to some subcontractor or something, then the onus, that's where you really have to push back on somebody not doing their job correctly or somebody not managing something correctly. Um, in real estate, right? Process is order. What things have to happen in a certain order, and if somebody jumps the gun on something, it can really affect the work of the other trade, right? If in layman's terms, let's just say that somebody was a really shoddy framer, and they frame stuff, and studs are not parallel, and on plumb, and or things are out of square. And then the drywall guy comes in. He's like, "What the hell? I bid this job to do the drywall work, but now I have to put all this extra time to make special cuts on my drywall to fit on these crappy walls that somebody didn't build square and plumb." That's just a simple example of efficiencies that you didn't account for. And again, that goes back to quality assurance, following up, managing, having that communication, checkpoints. I hope that makes sense.
Yes, sir. That makes sense.